State of the Game 2024, Legends of Runeterra. Here we go, chat. Here we go. Whew.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dave Guskin, executive producer of Legends of Runeterra, and we're here today to talk a bit about Legends of Runeterra's future and the impact of the recent changes at Riot. With me here today, I have a few familiar faces. There's Andre Van Roon, the head of League Studios.
Hey, folks.
Mark Merrill, our chief product officer and co-founder of Riot. And then Eric Shen, who's our current product lead and will soon be our new executive producer of Legends of Runeterra. I don't have my baton on me, unfortunately. I can't hand it off.
We'll get it later.
Yeah, we'll get it later.
Hiya, folks.
Let's start with how we got here. Mark, if you want to talk a little bit about kind of the history of lore.
Sure. So, we first started working on what ultimately became Legends of Runeterra back in 2011. A lot of us, were huge fans of, CCGs. Part of the sort of the thesis and opportunity that really excited us as players was the fact that, in a lot of CCGs, one of the things we all love to do was build decks. And so we wanted to have a business model that was incredibly generous to players, that enabled people to have a lot of cards to then get into that fun experimentation and not feel like I've got to go spend hundreds of dollars in order to go get the cards, even build the decks and figure out,
let people try it.
Yeah, exactly. Like Shadow Isles deck should feel very different than Demacia and all of the combinations that we thought were really fun. And what's great is we delivered that, but we sort of, never really get the formula right. We were always spending a lot more money investing in the game and supporting the community than the game was bringing in, and so essentially being subsidized by our other products. So we tried a lot of things over the last couple of years to figure out how to grow the audience and what would resonate with players. And so we sort of reached a point where we had to make some changes to try to get to a place of sustainability, because players have been so committed to this game, and we know so many people love the game, that we want to keep finding a way to deliver this awesome game that people love.
Yeah, I think the commitment and the love from the player base is one of the reasons we've got
That's
a lot of faith in the future of the game and a lot of that desire to keep improving and innovating on it.
Yeah, we've had players come along for the journey with us a lot here. We've done a lot of changes with PvP. We've tried doing Lab of Legends, which then became the Path of Champions. And what we've seen is that we've spent a lot of time on making the PvP side of the game much better, and players are actually spending a lot of their time in PvE.
There you go.
So it's kind of like, hey, it's probably appropriate for us to shift the focus a little bit, maybe line it up a little bit better, where we're spending more of our time on PvE, because that's where the player.
I will try to do subtitles, but it's possible that they get cut off.
I mean, like you mentioned, Lab of Legends, when that mode first came out, it shot up in popularity. It spiked over even standard ranked at that time. And that's why we've been building on that mode for so long, developing ultimately into the Path of Champions. And it continues to be our most popular mode, where both the actives and the hours, really, players are playing more games in that mode than even in standard ranked.
So
I really want to say really fast that this used to be 80% to 20%. I don't know when this was measured exactly, but it used to be 80% of players were in Path of Champions and 20% was engaging with all the other modes. So it's not really a small difference either. Path of Champion is crazy popular. Because it's a single player game, essentially, because you're playing against computer and you're not interacting with other players, there's less desire to go to streams, to go to YouTube, to watch videos, because you are playing with yourself and you because you're playing by yourself and you don't really need to look for decks or builds or see other people to get better.
a big content and systems focus is going to be on Path of Champions, correct?
Right, yeah. We know we have an excellent card game, and we don't want to lose that, but we're going to be shifting more of our attention, more of our time toward improving the Path of Champions mode.
Ultimately, what we're doing is we're taking the resources we have and we're applying them to where the players really are.
This upcoming set that's releasing soon is going to be our last set, as players currently know them.
Wait, hold on.
Taking the resources we have and we're applying them to where the players really are.
This upcoming set that's releasing soon is going to be our last set, as players currently know them.
That
doesn't mean we're not going to be releasing more champions, but it does mean that we're going to be changing the focus to be more on those champions in the Path of Champions. You two have given lore a ton of support over the years, and I really appreciate that. I think that's continued up to today and will continue in the future.
Very much so. I mean, I think we're doing this across Riot as a whole in terms of how we try and pull our world building, our storytelling together, and looking for opportunities for the different games to support each other more. We want to get a lot more connection between lore and League of Legends, Teamfight Tactics, and Wild Rift. get some of that
That's
sharing
good.
of ideas back and forth.
Yeah, lore obviously has a strength in the PvE section, but then of course TFT has the strategy stuff, and League of Legends has like the champions. Yeah, so that takes us to what I think is an exciting new future for lore. Eric, you want to kind of talk us through what's happening with this new focus on the Path of Champions?
Yeah, absolutely. We've actually been working on stuff for a while. So one of the big things that are coming out really soon is our big expansion to the map of Runeterra with the Frejlord section.
Okay.
So right now, players have been beating up on Asol for a while.
That's
They've
cool.
been looking for something new. And Lissandra is going to be our new big bad. Not Trinidad.
Okay, hold on. I'm actually I'm really gonna read the power here. Double the stats of and grant fearsome to the first unit the foe plays each round. Double the stats of and grant fearsome to the okay.
It's going to be our new
First
big bad. Not Trinidad. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Get her. Great choice. Yeah,
Get her out of here. Players are going to try their best, but we're really excited to see what they think of it. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard, and that's intentionally so.
And how OP can I be?
You can be OP, because along with Frejlord, soon after that, we're going to do what we think is the full expansion to the mode itself. So we call it Constellations. It's a feature in which we take the star powers that players have now with up to 3 power, and it's going to go to 6. So we're going to have 20 champs.
We're gonna have 20 champs coming out, and they can go to 6 stars.
Coming out, 6 stars, yes, get excited. Just a full step function level increase in power to match
Okay, it looks pretty
the
sick.
difficult that they've put out there in the Frejlord adventure.
Awesome.
We're not just doing 6-star existing champions though here, are we?
There will be brand new champs as well. So the ones that you take from 0 star all the way up to 6 star. So for those who love the grind, that's there for them too. Both some lore originals, some champs that exist now. So the whole gamut's going to be represented. Every region's got a champ.
Want to share a few of the champions we're going to be adding?
Aatrox has been playing really well. That's been one that people have been really liking during the playtest sessions. There's a lore original that we're testing out with Nora. So we think she's going to come to the Path of Champions and just delight players with what we have in store there. So some portal action.
Yeah, love me some portals. Let's go.
Just the 3-star, 6-star. Just all of a sudden your board is filled. It's a lot of fun.
The true Nora experience.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And when Arcane comes out later this year, anything we're thinking there?
I mean, never say never, but definitely Lissandra might be quaking in her boots of what we have coming after that.
Well, and I think a lot of this exciting stuff that's still coming, demonstrates also that, we're, of course, still committed to Legends of Runeterra. So just wanted to take a moment to again say
We're still
thank you
committed to
to
Legends of
everybody that's
Runeterra.
been with us on this journey for Legends of Runeterra. Also, again, just want to say thank you, Dave, for all the hard work and effort over the many years. And, and also you're not totally going away.
That's true. Yeah, I'll still be around.
Yeah, Dave's going to go work a little bit in R&D on some other cool stuff we have in the pipe.
Yeah, and I also want to really say thank you to all of our players. I think this has been an amazing experience being on lore. It's been an amazing team. I have a lot of faith in Eric and him being able to kind of take it to the future. And I think that we have a lot of support.
Absolutely. And there'll be a lot going on throughout the year. We're going to make sure we keep talking regularly with you folks, sometimes formal like this, sometimes more informal. If you want a few more details, we've also got an FAQ going out at the same time as this video that'll cover some more stuff. We're really excited to see what Eric and the team cook up this year.
Yeah, no pressure.
How are you feeling, Eric?
I'm excited, dude. We got a lot for players. We got a great roadmap, so I'm ready to hit the ground running, get to work.
Well, on that note, thank you all for being here with us. Got a lot of exciting stuff in the future, and we're going to go get to it. So thank you all. See you in game.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks all.
everyone.
So to recap, the next expansion we get is gonna be the last expansion as we know them. So that will probably mean we'll get 3 champions, we'll get a regular release like we always have, and then after that, champions will be releasing in a different way. There was absolutely no mention of PvP. There seems to be a lot of content for Path of Champions, so we can definitely see that this is the future of Runeterra. It seems to be that a lot of the focus is going towards Path of Champions. But Path of Champions can't exist unless you add new champions. So I wonder what that means as we know it. So this is the FAQ for the state of the game. So we'll go through this to hopefully get more answers even. This is readable, right? Oh yeah, this is exactly right. Nothing gets cut off here. Okay. Is LOR dying? That is a good question to start it off with. Let's see. No, it's not dying. We're making some changes alongside the larger structural changes at Riot. The intent is to focus on a better path forward for the business. And this, obviously, this was expected, right? the way that Runeterra has tried to function when the game came out, which was a AAA card game that doesn't have any predatory monetization through card packs. They tried to do something different. They wanted to focus on deck building, like they said in the video, so they wanted the cards to be readily available for players. There's still some time you need to invest to actually play before you get the cards. However, the market simply said no. That doesn't work. You can't actually turn that into a business, because if you have one customization option, like one Guardian, one board, one card back, you don't really need more. Skins could have been a saving grace there, but you don't always play the same deck with the same champions, and that's why TFT chibis are good, because they actually move across the board, right? I think that's a big pain point, and that's why Runeterra ultimately doesn't make much money. One type of prismatic, exactly. You have to have different customization borders. Like, could you imagine like a border for builds for the card? Like, you play a region much more than you actually play a single champion from that region. I could play a Jack deck. That doesn't mean I'm playing a Gangplank or a Misfortune deck. So if I just have like a customization border for builds for the card, that would go a lot longer way. So, but that doesn't matter. This is all like everything I'm saying right now doesn't matter, because all that matters is this right now. Okay, anyway. I'm going to try not to get distracted that way. So, better path for the business, the core of which will be Path to Champions moving forward and keep this amazing game going with a smaller, more focused team while we do that. You shifted into PvE, then refocused on PvP, now you're shifting to PvE again. How did that happen? This happened in 2022. We're now in 2024. This happened about 1.5 years ago when we had the article. We're refocusing on PvP, I believe. All of the announcements were the honest truth at the time, but the reality is we were adjusting to the changing landscape of the gaming industry during each pivot. When we focused on PvE, our team was dead set and ambitious that this mode could be the future. Shortly after we aligned on this vision, we had to be honest with ourselves about the monetary situation of LOR and rescope the size of the team. At that time, we were very, very passionate that as a smaller team, we could go all out for PvP, which we tried to do by revamping our PvP systems with Gauntless and the World Circuit. Throughout all of this, we continued development of Path to Champions on a very small scale, though through even that minimal support of Path to Champions, we found a significant majority of LOR players were drawn to the mode. Meanwhile, all of our bets and investments on PvP unfortunately did not increase engagement in the PvP modes that we had hoped. So during that 1.5 years since they did that refocus, they tried to put extra effort into the PvP side of the game, and that didn't work. So, unfortunately, it did not increase engagement in the PvP modes the way we had hoped. We again want to call out what the competitive parts of the community have done for this game. It's a tremendous achievement to have a game that has had multiple world championships. There's no doubt that the PvP community has a ton of passion and love for the game. However, we just can't get PvP to a state that is realistically sustainable. We would need many, many multiples of revenue above what we're making, which is simply unachievable. We're not the only card game to have had major changes to the business approach over the years, and we believe that this latest change is one that puts us on the path to growth again. Okay, so that is the focus on PvE. What is the last set coming out? This upcoming set will be the last card set we release in the way players are familiar with. After this, the teams are going to take some time to figure out how things might look in the future, and we'll keep you posted. What's happening with competitive? Will there be more tournaments? For now, competitive PvP will be put into hibernation. This includes gauntlets, ranked season rewards, tournaments such as the Runeterra Open system, Worlds, and esports holistically. Okay, well, that's basically it then. However, we will keep Casual Standard, Eternal, and Versus AI open indefinitely. Ranked Standard and Eternal will continue, but in a different structure than today that we'll be figuring out soon. With the sweeping changes to Riot and LOR, it will take us some time to figure out what we can do with those formats, and we'll update you when we have more solid plans. So this basically guarantees that competitive players that rely on that revenue, probably such as Majin, other competitive players, will be moving on from Runeterra, unfortunately. It says Ranked Standard and Eternal will continue, but in a different structure than today. So they didn't say Ranked is gone. They said there are no Ranked season rewards, like icons, prismatics, etc. I don't know what that means. I'm assuming you can still queue up for Ranked and play it like normal. Yeah, I think Ranked is still there. The rank is still there. Your Diamond or Master points are still there. So I don't think that's gone. There is just no gauntlets, no season rewards, no tournaments, no worlds or esports. Will we have a World Championship in 2024? Unfortunately, no. Our change in focus means that there will not be a World Championship in 2024. We are incredibly honored and proud to have made a game amazing enough to have supported having not just one, but 2 World Champions. And the impact those tournaments, competitors, and the memories have had on us is immeasurable. Aren't there 3? We had Alan, Aragorn, and Tulpinator. Am I missing something? We have 3 world championships, dude. We have 3 world champions. Which one did they demote? Wait, what? Yeah, Alan, Tulpinator, and Aragorn. I'm a creator, TO, community member who runs community events. What happens to those events? While we won't be able to directly support a lot of these events going forward, we are looking forward to supporting our broader community with self-run tournament kits, graphics, package, best practice sheets, API instructions, etc. in the future. We understand the impact the adjustment will have on many of our creators whose main content is PvP focused. You're an important part of our community and we hope you join us on this path of champions and we'll be able to work together. What about projects in the works like the Community Card Kitchen card and the World Championship pricing? As promised, we'll still be working with Tulpinator and Chinia to each develop a card for the game. Their victories were a massive accomplishment and we want to ensure we deliver their reward. For the Community Card Kitchen, that card is also on its way. We appreciate how many of you joined us in the process of designing. What is happening with the LOR Invitational, the mystery event? Are you canceling it? No, they're not. It's still going to happen and we're making some adjustment with the recent events here at Riot in mind. Our community has always been one of the best parts of LOR, and the Invitational is still a celebration of the community. We also look forward to speaking with the competitive players to see how we can best support them, even with a focus on PvE. This will be interesting. I am not a competitive player, but Majin is, and he's going to be at the tournament, so is Aikado. Boulevard is also in the competitive scene, very active there, and there's also seasonal winners, open winners, so it's a good time to talk to them. Why don't you just sell the things people want? We put out a fairly wide range of content, boards, champ skins, guardians, emotes, card packs, prismatic card styles, because our core monetization thesis was to let people earn their card collection and pay for cosmetics. But sales for cosmetics have proven deeply inadequate, often costing us more to make them than they earned for us. We know there are a lot of things that players wanted, like animated cards and more impressive card borders that we haven't been able to introduce. But due to major technical limitation and the high cost it would take to make those cosmetics, based on our explorations and prototypes, we ultimately couldn't make them happen. Lastly, even if we were able to find ways to comfortably produce these new cosmetics, the delta between what they'd be projected to make and what would be needed to sustain PvP is just too large to realistically expect from our players. Why don't you pull back on the generosity and make some money from cards? There's definitely been many conversations on how we could make this happen, but at the end of the day, there was no plausible approach we could take that would come close to matching the development cost it takes to produce the PvP sets we currently make, without essentially becoming a traditional CGG business model. Like Hearthstone. Sell packs like Hearthstone is what that means, basically. Because we believe so strongly in the original promise we've made to players, we think that moving forward with the Path to Champions as a primary focus allows for a much more sustainable model to continue making Legends of Runeterra while still staying true to our beliefs and values. So, does that mean that with this new 6-star stuff we've seen, does that mean that some champs are going to be paid for? Are they going to be paid for adventures? What is the way that they're monetizing this? Because it looks like with this approach, there's still going to be a real investment for producing these things. So where does that new money come from? Oh wait, that's the next question. Okay, does this mean the game will be monetized more moving forward? To be frank, yes. Okay. First instinct is to say good. Our team is very openly smaller now, and we will have more packages and monetization options for Path to Champions on many different levels. We want the game to grow and to do even more cool things with Legends of Runeterra, but we will need to be self-sufficient to be able to responsibly pay for those cool things. While we'll be listening intently to player feedback as these things go live, these new approaches will be designed to create sustainability for LOR in mind. I think that's good. Yeah, this does mean it'll be less player friendly, most likely. But I think for a mode like Path to Champions, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Because you have to realize, you buy a game like Slay the Spire once, and that's like a one-time investment. Here, you'll probably pay like a much smaller amount for like a single champion, a single relic or something. That does look more sustainable. That does sound more sustainable. I don't know what that means, what that'll look like in-game, but I play Path, and while it's not deck building the way I want to, it's not the kind of content I want to make, I'm still interested because I do love Runeterra, and I don't know. I do have faith in this mode, but it's really, really sad, and I'm a little bit lost to hear that PvP will not be supported at all, potentially. I don't know what it means. Yeah, more story-based stuff, for example, is really cool. It's over. I'm starting OnlyFans. Sonny, wanna collab? Message me, Grappler. I'm in. Why don't you release in China? LOR is the only Riot game not in China. We've definitely talked about being in China, and it's actually something we spent considerable effort on trying to make work after launch. But ultimately, many circumstances have meant we couldn't make it happen. It has since been an ever-present topic of discussion at LOR and at Riot. A major issue is that it's not just a matter of taking our current version of the game and submitting it to Chinese agencies for approval of a gaming license. A substantial amount of work has to go into making changes, and we couldn't afford to pause making the game for months to do so. Ultimately, because restarting the effort carried a significant degree of uncertainty, we chose to focus on opportunities that have more concrete impact to current players. Why don't you release a draft mode? As heard in the previous dev update, we spent time working on a prototype of a draft mode and found something that we think is fun to play and could be a good blend of satisfying to players and helpful to the business. Never say never, but it's not something we can currently devote resources to. More testing is required, and it also takes significant time and effort to bring something from prototype to shippable. And we haven't been able to do that alongside supporting card sets, other features, competitive, and the Path to Champions. I don't really mind. I'm going to be honest. I think with the way Runeterra was going when they announced this a few months ago, I'm like, okay, if you can afford to make this, if it doesn't take away from anything else, cool. But I wouldn't really care about that too much. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not experienced. I have no opinion on this. I don't know. Why hasn't Riot leadership helped LOR succeed? Riot leadership has been involved in and very supportive of LOR all along, and are very proud of our critical acclaim and dedicated player community. Behind the scenes, they've been subsidizing LOR from other Riot games in order to give us a long runway to try and find the right business model to become sustainable. They've also helped us manage multiple shifts in our focus, all of this prior to finally making the sensible call to better match the team's size and investment level to the realistic business provided by our player base. Even now, they continue to support and champion LOR by committing to keeping the game going in a smarter, more sustainable way. Yeah, this tells me nothing. Absolutely nothing. I believe this, don't get me wrong, but we don't know to what degree they helped, right? There's been no promotion. Like, they could have thrown money at Runeterra the entire time, but if you're throwing money at a game that keeps being developed for the current player base with very little actual new players coming in, maybe they should have invested in marketing a little. Again, this is weird for me to say because ultimately I don't know what the hell's going on. Also, I should have full screened this, so I can't really say much about this. Oh, well, I keep answering the questions right before. Okay. Why doesn't Riot advertise LOR? Our core focus has been on maintaining and retaining the amazing player community of LOR. To that end, the marketing and community teams partnered up and worked together to focus on our spoiler seasons, new expansion campaigns, music releases, YouTube shorts, as well as supporting social channels across a wide variety of regions on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I missed one? Okay, I'll do this one after. Let's get granular. This is called mid-funnel marketing and tends to have a higher return on investment. Broader top of funnel or awareness marketing requires a great deal of investment to show a return inside of the game. High-end CG trailers with appropriate media boosting can run into the millions of dollars in cost, even with a strong audience targeting. We saw this lack of return time and time and time again over the course of LOR's first year. Ensuring the community and labs LOR players felt supported and able to celebrate set launches via set content repeatedly provide a stronger return on our efforts and investments. Going forward, be looking for LOR to take more advantage of the wider League ecosystem, including such possibilities as client placement in League, as well as co-promotion across other Riot and League Studio channels. This is why I think moving Runeterra under League Studio is good. But obviously that shift from PvP to Path to Champions, I don't know what that means for content creators and for players like us. Why is Riot investing in other unreleased games and not LOR? This is a weird question. They're not mutually exclusive, you know? There's a bit of a double-edged sword here. Being a live game, LOR has a dedicated player base that we know is passionate and engaged, but also LOR is not performing as a sustainable business. It's right for Riot to keep other irons in the fire. Unreleased games still in R&D have a bit more unknowns attached to them. We don't know the audience appetite, and we don't know the real-world outcomes of their proposed businesses. So balancing investment across the portfolio, matching LOR's investment to a realistic view of its potential business is the reason. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I don't think that, like, again, this is not mutually exclusive. It's like we can... There could be other games in the work, and LOR can still exist. Even if LOR was doing well, I would expect this to still be the case. I heard LOR is joining League Studio. Why wasn't it before, and what does this mean? Why wasn't it before? League Studio is a fairly recent organizational change at Riot. It's not intended to be a grouping of every game that uses or will use the Runeterra IP, but instead a way to help games with significant overlap work together better. For example, League and TFT share a client and code base, with a lot of players spending some time in both games. LOL. Okay, so League and Wild Rift don't share code, but they are very much the same overall core experience. What does this mean? By having LOR join League Studios, the game will be much better integrated into the overall scope and plan of the League ecosystem. And that's a very good thing. This is why I was excited about this change in general. Such as events, champion design insights, release cadences, and the like. There's also some synergistic benefits between the games sharing resources and eliminating duplicative elements. We can have a single release manager for all the mobile titles, for example. This helps save LOR resources that can be used to make actual game stuff for players instead. When the games were in different parts of the organization, things could get bogged down for any number of unnecessary corporate reasons that this new structure should help reduce, resulting in richer and complementary game experiences for players. We have seen success with this in the past with instances like TFT and LOR sharing some of the same art to bring Remix Rumble to life or T-Hex across games. And this is why this is good. Again, I wish something like this could happen during PvP because, for example, a good example is when Akshan came out in Runeterra at the same time as in League. I believe it was even a little bit before the League release. And that was so much hype, right? We had like Viego and Akshan event. Akshan came in the game as a champion at the same time as League. I don't know about Wild Rift or TFT. I don't think they were out at the time. I can't remember. And like those type of events, seeing that stuff is also happening in other Riot games is a really big deal for players, in my opinion. And I was always hoping that even after that, if a new champion released in League, like around Nefiri or Melio or whatever releases, that we'd be seeing the same champion in League shortly after. But I don't think that's ever happened. I'm actually going to take a quick sidebar here. Hold on. League of Legends champion releases. Okay, so let's go from the top and see which of these newer champions actually made it to the game, because it feels like we've only been getting old champions to the game. Champions that have existed for a long time. So let's see when the first one appears. No, not Smolder, Huai, Briar, Nefiri, Melio, Cassante, Nila, Belvet, Renata, Zeri, Vex, Akshan, Gwen. So it was Akshan, Gwen, Viego. These are the three champions that made in the game. And Vex released 2021 in September. So that's... Oh, wait, Nila. Oh, you're right. Nila. Nila's in the game. Yeah, 2022. Okay, you're right. It's Nila. My bad. Yeah, it's Nila. Okay, that's not too bad then. So Nila was released to the game about a year after initial release. Okay, that's pretty impressive actually. I'm gonna be completely honest. That's kind of that's nice. I wish that happened more. But I can't say anything about this. Completely forgot about Nila. Seraphine was 2020, dude. She released in 2023, 22 maybe. Why isn't LOR in the League client? Good news. We're targeting to start promoting Legends of Runeterra in the League client as early as sometime in February and periodically thereafter. Cool. So League players can enjoy Path to Champions. I think that's smart, by the way. I'm gonna be completely honest. That is a good thing. It is a bit late, yeah. But it's better than nothing. I'm so interested in Path to Champions. I'm disappointed that this is the direction. I'm lost. I love Runeterra with all my heart. This is me talking as a content creator. I love this game, and I also love creating content for this game. I like Path to Champions, but it feels really weird that I've been uploading daily new decks. You know, sometimes I play Mono Shurima multiple times a month. Sometimes I play Lurk more than I probably should. But more or less, I've been uploading daily videos for 3 years with unique decks every single day. And I don't know how that translates to Path to Champions, as interested as I am. Path to Champions looks insanely good. It looks great. I think the direction they're taking is awesome. But PvP at the same time, being something that isn't really being supported anymore is, yeah, it's strange. So personally, I hope there's customizable, customizationable stuff for Path to Champions, like the starting deck, starting power. Literally give me the first node on Path to Champions that is like Slay the Spire, Cobalt Core, Wild Frost, where you go to the first node and it says like, hey, do you want to cut some stuff for your deck to add to a random card that might be a little bit stronger, or might not synergize with your build? Do you want to remove your current power for a better one that's random? Stuff like that. Or do you just want 100 gold? something that would be all it needs to make runs more unique, because I still feel like, as much as I love Path to Champions, because I don't play it all the time, I still feel like Path to Champions is very samey in a way. Okay. You mentioned the roadmap. When can we see that? To be frank, we're ironing out exact timelines, but we'll be in the process together. What you see in the video makes up some of our immediate goals and upcoming release from experiments run last year. As we release Constellation and Frejlord, the results and player feedback to those systems will help us further galvanize our roadmap. That's not a real word. I don't believe you. That's made up. However, as we lock things in, we'll be sure to keep you in the know. What's happening to patch notes, articles, and streams. Oh god, okay. We're still figuring that out, and we want to do that along with you. We're taking this opportunity to look at all the ways we communicate and engage and figure out where we can meet you all in the upcoming months. For example, while packed full of content, our live streams were focused around life balance, and our articles and streams that did focus on Path did not see high engagement numbers, which is how we evaluate if a tactic is successful or not. Yeah, Path players don't go to YouTube or Twitch. Let's be honest. These past few years, we've shown up a lot on Reddit and Twitch, which appears to be helpful, but is not necessarily a scalable way to reach the broader LOR audience with meaningful, deep content. But to what are these made-up words? But to assuage any fears, patch notes will still be around. We need to hone in on what's the best way to get information to you all and the cadence of our patches moving forward. We welcome your feedback and what you all think works best. Well, that depends on what they're doing with PvP, right? It fully depends on how much balancing is necessary for PvP, because I don't know how much new stuff is releasing. I would like to have the 4-week patch cadence, but I don't know if that's realistic. We love LOR. We've been taking a few big swings at plans to make the game more sustainable from a business perspective by growing the player base, but that didn't work, or we found the work required was sustainably beyond what the existing team could deliver. So now the plan is to match the team size and investment in sustainability more closely with the dedicated player base we're so fortunate to have built over the past several years. Why don't you just kill LOR? All right. There's 2 links. Oh yeah, it's the video and this. Okay. So it's very, very clear to me that the game is far from dead. I understand that you guys and me, you know, as enjoyers of PvP, think the game is dead. That's not the case. Runeterra being moved to League Studio is a very big deal and is a bright future for the game ultimately. You guys have to realize that we are not the majority. We are the minority. PvP has never seen a lot of players. It's never seen a lot of engagement. It's never seen numbers that are as big as Path to Champions apparently. So as a business, as a company, it makes total sense for them to do this, right? That doesn't take away that it sucks, because I'm gonna miss building decks, but we ultimately don't know what that means for the future. Maybe there are still champions releasing. Maybe that is enough content to keep going. The game exists. The game is probably gonna do better than it did before. It's just how interested are people in PvP if that isn't the main focus. Like, for example, how well does Slay the Spire content do on YouTube, on Twitch? Is Slay the Spire an active game? Does it see a lot of, for example, content updates? Oh, is Jules here? Hold on. Oh, you are! You are VIP. Hello, Jules. How are you doing? Yeah, people, if we have any questions, let's... Oh, hi, Sunny and chat. We have a bunch of people from the team answering questions on Reddit and Twitter. I know there are a bunch of questions out there, and we're trying to cover as many as possible. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Jules. So if anyone has a question, either post them here, or even better, post them on Twitter or Reddit so that there can be people from the team to answer them more directly. Yeah, I'd like to, honestly, I'd like to talk to people that are very invested in competitive, most of all. Because I'm not competitive. I'm a content creator, and I love playing PvP because it lets me do unique stuff with the game, like deck building, which I feel is the strength of the game. Which I have felt is the strength of the game. The strength of the game might just be Path to Champions. The strength of the game is probably there are League champions that are turned into cards, and you can play League of Legends without playing League of Legends. Let's be honest. That's why we're all here, right? I want to play my favorite champions. I blocked you. No, I haven't. You're VIP now. Rotation is not happening? We don't know. That's a good question. Is rotation happening? What's happening with rotation? Is that a yes or no question that we can We can ask, is there going to be rotation? We don't need details. Okay, we can write some stuff down, right? Sunny from the future here, and this video is just my reaction to the video and the FAQ that Riot posted after my stream to cover the news. To sum things up, basically the future looks awesome if you like Path to Champions, but it's not so great if you enjoy PvP like me or you enjoy building your own decks. There's still a decent amount of PvP content coming, but we don't know for how much longer. That being said, I'll be uploading a full comprehensive video that's more edited to talk about everything that happened, but that will take a little more time to put together, so make sure to stay tuned for that. That will also include my plans as a creator. Meanwhile, I'll be updating the announcement channel on my Discord server with answers to the questions that you can see on the screen right now, so keep an eye on that and use the Discord link in the description to join the server. And yeah, again, I'll be here no matter what to make content for my favorite game as much as it's possible. I'm excited for Path to Champions, but I'm also devastated that PvP took a hit like this. I want to say that it makes sense that Riot is doing this, but obviously it's not the news that most of us were looking for. So with that, there might be more variety content, but again, I'll be making videos no matter what the future looks like. So we'll stay strong together as a community, and I'll see you guys at the next gameplay video and for that big update video in the near future. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me through this, and happy high rolling.